So welcome back to What the Phuc, guys. Welcome,
Hey,
Phuc.
how are you guys?
I have a special guest here today. Uh, my lovely wife, Sherri.
Hey, Sherri.
Everyone, great to be here.
As you know, this is a show about startups, about the American dream, about trying to make it big. And so far, I haven't made it yet.
We're getting there,
But
though.
this lovely lady has been here the entire time. Yeah. And she can kind of maybe tell you about the journey and also the founding story of Phuc Labs and Maturity and what happened last summer during the COVID.
Yeah, she was there for
summer.
the whole thing, the whole ride.
So the first thing I want to say is, any husband wants to say this to their wife. I told you so.
You got that right.
So last summer, this woman thought I was nuts. Okay, let me give you a summary. Okay, let me tell. I kind of see what her point. Okay, so your husband here, CEO of a company. He works 4.5 years, really super hard, to make it successful, and it starts to become successful, and out of nowhere he just quits. Just quits. Let me tell you, he's like, I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah.
And obviously she knows that there's something going on with the company being acquired, and maybe there's some opportunity to cash out. But then COVID happens.
Man.
So the judgment doesn't seem to be there, because if you're the husband and you make a decision like that without consulting your wife too carefully, and you make a decision, it works out, that's fine. But when COVID happens, you're unemployed, you quit as being CEO, co-founder of a pretty successful company, and now you tell her what was the crazy idea I said to you?
What about?
Can you just kind of relive the moment I told you about Vision Valve, about Phuc Labs? Can you tell me?
Like, what went through your head?
The day-
Like, as soon as...
Okay, I remember very clearly. Sherri was doing laundry,
Yes, as usual. Yeah.
and I said, I have a brilliant idea. And what did you say?
Well, let me see. This happens all the time. So if you'd always approach me at the time when I'm doing chores or doing something.
So you're distracted. Like, that's
I
when it
really
has to
don't remember
happen.
the- I don't know. It has to happen when I'm doing something. So he's like, "Do you have a minute? We can talk about something." Like, no, we'll talk later. But he always like dragging me at that time. So I really don't remember actually. He's like, he said that there's a light bulb that turned on his head and like he has a new invention. It's like, okay, I'm not a visual person, so I don't know. I have no idea what he was saying. It's like, okay, we'll talk about this later. So I actually didn't know what it was. So I was like, okay, I keep nodding my head. I say, okay, that's a great idea. And then he left. That was it. So that's all I remember. I don't know what else was there. So you gotta tell me.
That's the experience of living with someone with so
Yeah,
many
no, they
ideas.
just, like, block you
It
out.
all
Yeah.
blurs and looks the same, and you say, okay, whatever, honey. Move
Like,
along.
this
No,
was a big one.
You know, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. And I say, okay, we'll talk about this later. But then I kind of have to like brush him off and then let him be. I'd be a supporting wife. Support his ideas and business. We've been together for. I've been together since I was 18 years
Ah, it's
old.
been a
You know what I
while.
mean? So I've been with him with all these companies already, right? So I always been the supportive wife. He's like, do what you need to do. Just take care of our family and make sure there's food on the table.
That's awesome, actually. Not everybody does that.
Under our head.
Like, some people, like, really doubt and, like,
You know
we
what I
need
mean?
to
So
chip in
I-
for everything, all the time. So it's awesome that you've been, like, this supportive and
No,
everything.
I tried. I mean, I did my best. You know what I mean? So he has many ideas, and and I think this is it. I think this is the company that's gonna make it. I guess So,
But pretty much I say this about every company, and she usually gives me a hard time, and she's actually very good negative negative aspect of my life in terms of like the opinions, because she keeps
Yeah,
me
no,
humble.
definitely. Gives you some
Yeah,
feedback,
yeah.
like,
She's a hard
exactly, like, some
judge.
straight up feedback on whatever it is you just said to her, regardless of what it is.
She calls me
Yeah.
on my bullshit, basically.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but I also want to say I told you.
And like, let's get back to the important part. Like, I don't.
Get back to the important part. Okay, let me tell you why I think she also thought I was crazy. Let me tell you all the crazy stuff I was doing around the same time, right? And my mom also thought I was crazy. So I'm always scared of two people in my life. I'm scared of my mom, and I'm scared of
Well,
my
there you
wife.
go.
As all men should be. All good, at least the ones that want peace in their lives.
Most important
Yes.
woman in your life,
And
and your
daughters.
daughters. And your 2 daughters.
Happy wife, happy life, as they
Yeah.
say.
Of course.
And happy mom, happy life as well. And my mom is from Vietnam, and she grew up in the farm, and I grew up in the farm too. And you know, and I had a great idea. I was like, you know, during COVID, why don't we get some chickens? Why don't we get some like chickens, because in Boston, they're actually encouraging
Like as a
urban
pet?
farming. And our neighbor actually has chickens, and I said, you can get 1 egg
Oh.
per day. It's a good thing to do. And guess what happens? Remember what happened to my mom?
I think your mom got super upset, and she was crying to
Well,
so they got into huge arguments, and I didn't really like the idea either. I mean, I like the idea of having chickens and having eggs and so on, right? But we live in
sounds
the city,
fun.
and we don't
like
have
it, but then like actually like as well. I had chickens as well because I used to live in South America in Ecuador, and it's not as fun as people would like imagine it is. Like, oh yeah, eggs, and it's nice. You're gonna get all these pets, and it's totally not that. And all the cleaning up, which I didn't do, luckily. How did you guys? Do you have a yard?
Yeah, we have a yard, but I think it's just not a ideal yard for, you know,
It takes space.
we're in a city, you know what I mean? So we don't have that much space. It was like, he was like throwing this idea to our kids, you know? And like, oh my god, we're gonna get chicken, gonna get eggs.
Oh, they must have been so happy though.
But then he told them, and then they were really happy about it. But then when we tried to do it, then his mom got super upset. Like, I'm gonna move out. You guys gonna do this? And she was like getting her suitcase down to the
Okay.
basement. She was about to leave. My brother-in-law lives 2 doors down. She's like, I'm threatening to move out. Okay.
The chickens were a deal breaker here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Very much,
Yeah.
yes. I really don't know what happened. Maybe in Vietnam they chicken I don't know, attacked her. I don't know.
Like some
what
trauma
happened, you
there.
know? So she's like no chickens at all. So I really don't know.
Okay, this is. I want to show you how mad she was. Okay, so remember last episode when I said, "Hey, I have these these moments on my porch when I'm coming up with these ideas. I'm talking to the guy, like you know, nature and everything, the bees and the spider, like Charlotte's Web makes a beautiful web like Charlotte's Web." And I say, "Look at mom, look at the spider. It's like, you know, aside from God or something or whatever, it's some spiritual thing." And she's like, "Goddamn spider!" She takes a broom and she smacks the web, and she destroys the spider web. And I'm like, "No, Charlotte, Charlotte, are you okay?" And like basically the spider's gone, the web's gone, and she's like, "No animals in this house." Forget the chickens, forget the spiders. Gosh, you.
Man, your
are not
mom,
doing
like anybody
anything
that
associated.
saw episode 1 or of the podcast, no, she's a tough woman. So I'm getting like, if she says like no animals,
Yeah.
it's no animals. That's how the chicken.
So of course I'm also pretty
Yeah.
hard-headed myself, as I'm her son, obviously. But at the end, I had to acquiesce on that in many items. But I did not acquiesce on this thing about filtering water using a
No,
computer.
luckily, it's a good thing.
So that sounds like a cockamamie idea. If I said to you, "Hey, look, I have an invention where I can filter water using a computer and using software," like, what the heck, you're talking?
Yeah, like it's
What
very
type of
like,
Buddhist?
again. Like- so then what? Like the chickens?
So anyway, so
So what happened with the chicken?
okay, so anyway, this is not my first. So the chickens, we're not doing any chickens. If anything, you know, we're gonna probably steal the chicken eggs from the neighbor if anything happens. But we're not gonna do chickens. Although I try to do a workaround. I say, hey, our neighbor has some space, because our neighbor has these pigeons.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can pay our neighbors to maybe like take care of our chicken for us. He's like, no chickens, not even the neighbor's yard. And I kind of know why, because I think they do smell. And I do remember when I was in Vietnam. I'll tell you the fun that you do in Vietnam. Okay, you play with chickens, and you play with rocks and marbles, and you play with mud. I'll tell you my 3 pastimes according to my mom. Okay. One of my pastimes was basically playing with mud, and I would continuously make little modes of my penis.
Okay.
So I would just go ahead and just roll these little mud balls into these little long
Okay.
things, compared to my
So
wee
like
essentially.
tiny, what you're saying, like small
And-
balls of mud.
I had a fascination with my wee wee. I don't know why, but she was just say, hey, you just play with your mud and you made modes of your wee wee or wee wees. I guess so. I guess I don't remember that. The second thing I remember from Vietnam very distinctly was when you're little kids, you have no money, but these marbles, right? These marbles were so shiny and beautiful and
Yeah.
glassy. Like, oh my god. Well, marbles here are like a penny or like 5 cents, whatever it is. It's really cheap. You buy a bag of marbles for a couple bucks. But for Vietnam, oh my god. It's kind of like the Indians when the Westerners came and they have these trinkets that
Yes,
they give
like,
to the
oh,
Indians,
here,
like
a mirror.
birds and stuff.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Here's like a toothbrush. Thank you for the entire fur from your bear. It's like. But anyway, so the way it would work is it's very jungle. So let's say you have 5 marbles, and the other kid has 5 marbles. So all the kids would congregate to play marbles. It's like, what's this marble thing? It's actually a casino
Really?
with real like marble
Yeah.
action. So what's marble action look like? What do you guys think marble
I
action
never
is?
played marbles.
Well, there's a ton of games actually you can play. Here, it was pretty popular in Ecuador as well.
You-
Like,
don't you hit the
well,
marble?
you have to put in. Well,
hit the
you put in a
Yeah,
circle.
it's a
pinball,
Like
right?
there's one game that we used to play a lot. Is like you draw a circle in the dirt and put you bet like I don't know 3-3, and you each put in like 3 marbles, and you have to like from a certain distance throw another one and get whatever marbles out without letting the ones that you threw in get stuck in the center as well. So they both have to go out. Then you just won one, and you keep going.
Right. Right. So that's one game. Another game you can have is you can have, like I say, a bunch of marbles
Yep.
that you own, and a bunch of marbles that they own, and then you flick your marble and hit their marble,
Yeah.
and each time you hit their marble, you
Yep.
take both,
Yeah.
right? And so in the end, you can lose
Yeah,
all
definitely.
your marbles.
Definitely.
Literally. Not go crazy, but like lose your physical marble,
Like the actual physical glass.
your actual physical marble. So yeah. So I was marble champion. I'm
Okay.
guessing, because I remember it clearly being something that I was probably good at because I guess.
Yeah, you did it a lot as well.
I
Like
remember.
that was like what you did when you were a kid, like when you weren't playing with mud.
Well, I think the marbles go well with my. Yeah, it goes well with my my mud penis.
There you go.
maybe it's for the shiny balls that go wrong with my mimi.
I don't know. This generation, I don't think they know what marbles are. I don't think.
Do they even play
know
outside
what
this
they know what
generation?
marbles are. They don't-
Well, I have like if there's any like
know what marbles
centennials
are.
or anybody like younger than that, comment if you play outside.
play marbles?
You know how to play marbles.
Okay. So marbles, mud modes, and then the third thing I would do is chase chickens.
Yeah.
And see if you can catch them.
Man, some chicken are very aggressive,
But
man.
these chickens.
Like they turn around and they're
So
like,
you see my face?
mhm.
I think you
All right.
got
I have a chicken scratch here.
Damn.
All right, because the mom was mad I was chasing the babies.
Which one? Which where? I don't
So
see
someone,
it.
I think
Really?
somewhere right. Yeah.
Oh.
So the claw of the chicken
Yeah.
clawed
And they
my
jump
face. Because it's like, get off my kids.
Yes.
No chasing my chicks. And so maybe that's why my mom is traumatized.
Probably.
Well, you probably bled if you still have a mark on your face at this age.
Yeah. So maybe the chicken attack. Let's say your kid had a dog
Yeah, no,
attack.
definitely.
Yeah,
You probably want to
No,
have a dog.
like I don't care if you're an adult.
maybe you have a little scratch or something. That I think that kids
And you're-
like it, yeah.
But somehow I didn't mind. I still want chickens, I guess.
Well, you still eat chickens.
Yeah, but you eat chicken.
Right? You still eat.
One of the things I wanted to do was actually eat the eggs, then eat the chicken once the chicken was, ripe enough,
Yeah.
I guess.
No, but you're not supposed to kill them. You're not supposed to.
Well, they're actually 2 types of chickens. I actually did some research
Okay.
behind these chickens. Okay. There are tastier ones, and those are roasting
Okay.
chickens.
Mm.
And there are ones that are made for eggs.
Yeah, I think these are made for
Oh.
eggs, so. Only
And,
not to
and
eat.
obviously all chickens can make eggs and stuff, but some make more often, some make more bigger, nutritious eggs. And some also are more friendly for kids and for taking care of. So I got the unfriendly breed.
Of course.
I got the cockfighting, Michael Vick, cockfighting, like champion, of the chicken league. And I lost.
No, our friend who lives in the suburbs, they have 3 chickens,
Okay.
right? So they let them out, like they have a huge yard. They let them out, like wander around the yard, right? And they I don't know. She said that one of the chicken was like trying to like tell her something, right? Like, oh, there's like a fox
Yeah.
or something by the backyard. Yeah, so the I think the chicken flew to the bathroom window and like pecking at the window. She told me this. Like,
Yeah.
it's so strange. So I think the chicken is not that smart animal, but they are, I think. And she's like, oh my god, it's like freaking her out. There was a fox coming in the yard trying to grab the.
Kind of like the self-defense, like they knew exactly where to go get help.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're like, there's a window. Go peck up But no, it's yeah, straight. I mean, I don't think they were that smart. I guess they are.
And they're actually turkeys in Boston.
Like wild turkey?
Wild
Like
turkeys
you walk around?
walking around.
Huh.
Literally in like South Boston and Dorchester, I'm like, why is there a turkey here? And they just
No,
walk
they
around.
always come out around.
But like,
during
were there any
Christmas.
weird animals like wandering around the cities in Boston, like with the pandemic and everything? I used to see all these images like on Facebook or whatnot.
There's deers. We have deers, not in Boston, but literally 20 minutes from Boston, like Newton, they have deers like in the someone's yard and stuff like that. So and then deers, I see. Well, we have foxes. About raccoons, I guess, in the city. You know, very typical.
Lots of raccoons.
It's like the trash pandas.
We've had I think probably 10 years ago in our house we had like a whole family of raccoon, like probably 3-4 of them, and they always come and visit us in the porch with the light. There's 3 of them just staring at us. So the whole family, the 3 of them. So we had to go call the
animal control
person, and they set up traps. And then they caught one, I think, and then they supposedly that raccoon go. I don't know, I'm not sure. But our son at the time was like, are they gonna kill him or are they gonna let him go?
They're gonna go to the family. It's going to the raccoon farm.
I don't know. Well, he was like 3 or 4. He has a love for animals, so he doesn't really kill like a ladybug or like a fly. He really wants to let them go. He doesn't like to kill them at all. So like if he wasn't watching, I would just let him go.
Well, yeah, it's like there's like wild animal on your porch.
Yeah, so I don't know. He's like a raccoon. I don't know. They actually look cute, but they're wild.
So, did you end up getting the chicken, or like your mom's word was final?
No, but we did do some gardening, a lot of gardening. And then this young lady here started baking.
Dangerous.
So she's actually a master baker now, but she never knew how to cook until recently. During COVID, she picked it up. We set up a dining room. We made it a little bit more family friendly. So the way I saw COVID was, and just like with anything in life, is you could have a perspective.
Silver linings.
Say, this is the zombie apocalypse, or this is a time for me to have a 1-year vacation where I can hang out with my family, regroup with my roots, start a business, read a book, improve myself, recharge my emotions, my spiritual. And COVID was probably the best year of my life, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even though all the tragedy happened.
There's a bunch of things that definitely make this a very bad situation for everybody else. But I mean, like, it happened, you know. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, and if it's make the best out of it. And honestly, what came out of you was a great idea. Actually, like.
So I actually did some research, and I was looking at the great breakthroughs, and one of the things I was looking at was Isaac Newton, he's one of my heroes. Did you guys know that Isaac Newton, the great physicist who invented the laws of physics, essentially, like the laws of motion, all this stuff, he was bored during a pandemic. It was a pandemic just like this one, just like COVID. And all those laws of physics were made during the same kind of situation. He was locked up. He was basically,
just him and his thoughts, huh?
And instead of messing around,
well, he didn't have internet though, so I feel like
it's a big. Physics. Discovered the greatest laws of physics. Yeah, boredom can actually make you do some weird experiments. And then those
definitely.
Experiments,
let's see what happens now. It's not like you can just go like waste your time on Instagram or something. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm sit down in my room and think about physics and come up with like calculus and everything. That is awesome. I didn't know that he was born during a pandemic.
Yeah.
And this kind of like coming back to the show, right? So obviously you want to hear about chickens,
of course,
or my modes of whatever, my anatomy, and but I kind of want to show like one of the things that I think would be really important to understand is all the 5 companies I started. She's along with it, and because some of the lessons about why some made it and some didn't, and kind of like her perspective as a supporter of someone who's going through this, right? How do you handle that stressful situation where would we say we're pretty broke right now?
I think we still have a roof over our heads. We still have food on the table. That's all that matters. I think. I mean, I think as a wife, as a I feel like, we've been there for you, and, the thick and thin, we'll do our best, we don't, we have to eat McDonald's for the rest of life. That's totally fine. I think the kids are.
We can't afford McDonald's.
I can't do like McDonald's. But McDonald's very expensive. I'm just kidding. But we try to be as supportive as possible. It's very tough times. We have had many arguments.
It's rough.
Not like it's all nice and right now it's all smiling stuff. But we tried to be with each other. I've been very supportive, and he's also been supportive to me as well. And then I just also went back to work full time, and he's been the person handling all the kids and stuff like that with their other schedules and pickup and stuff. So he's doing it all, and we'll be there for him. He has amazing friends and family, and like Roberto and Maggie to help you.
For
so
sure.
Definitely, we can talk about
Which is awesome because like not everybody supports
Yeah,
him, and having this like change of roles and you sticking around is great. Not everybody does it. Like at some point there's gonna be like some variation of something, and people just quit. So it's a great thing, and it doesn't happen to everybody.
Yeah, and I actually know friends who started companies one time and they would quit. Right? And I think part of this reason that they don't start a second time is very stressful upon their spouse and their family. And I'm lucky to have someone who's willing to not only be supportive, but also help me with some of these companies. So I want to get back to like the situation of how should you work with your spouse, should you work with your family, what were the issues that went along with that, what were the benefits of that, and also like why some businesses made it, what her perspective of why we're making it now versus before. But maybe I kind of preface it with some information that I think might be useful for the audience. So one thing you might want to look at is this TED Talk of a company called Idea Lab. Idea Lab is a local company in the U.S. that started around the early 2000s, the .com time, right? And the idea was this company would create ideas, create companies, and get VC funding from it. So they actually started 100+ companies, and at some point they collected all this data, and the founder of the company did a TED Talk. And so he had basically said, okay, what are the reasons why companies make it? Do companies make it because of the founder, the team, right? So is it team? Is it the amount of money that they raise? Is it the timing? Is it the product?
Sheer luck.
Or is it the a bunch of other situations? And basically, what do you think they said was the number one reason why companies are successful?
I don't know, like resilience, like it's a combination of all.
So perseverance, okay?
Yeah.
How about you?
I don't know, positive attitude is. I don't know.
Positive attitude,
Yeah.
right? Team.
Yeah.
Actually, all those things are very bottom.
Oh,
Really? Or
Yeah.
it's family?
I'll give you guys another hint or two, right?
I mean, what?
What do you guys
what do
think?
you said a hint? I'm expecting my
Why do you
hint.
think? Why do you think this company is making it versus, let's say, the other company sharing?
I
Like
don't know.
experience?
It's- What? Family support? I don't know.
So that experience could be the team, right?
Mhm.
That's
No,
not
no.
experience.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for that hint. Like-
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What's it?
Let me ask you a question, right? Let's start all the companies. Why the companies did not make it or did make it, right? Let's start one company at a time. Okay, so the first company that I started with you, I started when you were with me. I had already started. It was Crimson Solutions,
Yeah.
and we were doing a recruiting platform, as you may remember, for colleges, and it was essentially a solution, a software solution, software as a service, where we would host their website for Harvard, MIT, all these different universities, so that career centers can power on-campus recruiting. We built a pretty good product. We had a solid team. We sold all these customers. And why do you think we didn't make it there?
Well, that was, let's see, how long was that ago?
That's
like
a while
23
ago.
years ago.
You
Okay?
can hear
That's-
about it in the other
that's
podcast.
1997,
No,
1998,
1999. That's when I first met Phuc.
1999.
So I knew her for two millennia.
So I was still in college, and I was I think I was a freshman or sophomore year in college. That was my second year, and I met him. He just graduated from college, from Harvard. So he told me he started a company. I visited him in his company, and I had no idea what he was doing. So.
I have a question.
So
Were you trying
I
to
did
impress
it.
Sherri by taking
No.
her to your company? It's like this is like your flex.
Of course.
Like
Of course. So I remember I drove the shittiest car ever. I drove a white Buick
No,
Skylark.
wait. he was driving his dad's car. It was a Toyota 4Runner, right?
Oh,
It was his big car. And then his dad was on vacation in Vietnam, so that's why he was
Okay.
driving his car, okay? So when his dad came back, he was driving this white Cadillac. It was like, I was driving like, I was like shaking when I was in the seat.
It wasn't even a Cadillac. Cadillac is too good. It was a Buick Skylark. Okay? A Cadillac is a nice car that's collectible.
It was
a Buick
the
Skylark.
shittiest car. It was from when we were dating, and then 3 months later, it was that car. So I was like, okay, we can, we'll
Yeah, so taking my dad's
Okay.
4Runner, which is an SUV,
Very
was
nice
a lot
car.
nicer than this Buick Skylark.
beat up car, yeah.
Where when I would take it to the mechanic, I'll tell you how bad it was. Okay, it was a $1,500 car. It was
Okay.
my first car ever. So my senior year at college, I had bought the car because I had to stay from home. I had to go to college from home because I wanted to be saving some money for my parents because obviously they're paying all
Yeah.
the tuition and it was cheaper. We saved like $8,000,
Awesome.
$10,000.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And then all the money from the food and tuition, all that stuff. So ultimately, it was probably like $20,000 we saved that year. But I commuted, and every time I go to the tow booth, there was a tow booth where you had to pay 25 cents, 50 cents essentially to go
Yeah.
through the toll road. And every time I stopped the car, it would stall on me. So I had perfected the process of taking 2 coins, throwing it ahead like 5 feet, hitting the basket, bouncing 15 times, rolling into the receptacle, getting credit for 50 cents, having the thing turn green, having the arm go up. But I would coast within 20
Yeah.
seconds. So it wouldn't stop the car, and I would not stall. Otherwise, I would have to start the
Oh
car.
man.
And then and the reason why was the oil was so dirty. And I brought it to the mechanic. And the mechanic's like, I'm sorry, man. I changed your oil 5 times. And it's still black. That's the best I can do. And pretty much that was the car I had. But it looked pretty clean.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not sitting in the engine.
It wasn't clean. It
For-
wasn't clean.
I mean, for someone who used to smoke in the car and it stuck. I kept it as much as I could clean, but ultimately, yeah, I was pretty poor. I was 22, she was 19. I kind of grew up the cradle a little bit, but whatever. Not too bad, 3 years difference. And then I started Crimson Solutions, and she was supporting me during that. But I would say, why do you think we failed there?
No, I mean, I think it was your first company, and you guys did had, VC funded, and you had a lot of you had like 2 partners and stuff like that. I met all your 2 of your college friends. I met a lot of people there, and some of these salespeople working were much older than you guys were. You guys were only 22. Some of these salespeople were like in their 30s. And it's
Yeah, people don't like that.
I think for that.
They
I don't
feel
know.
like
So it was like people working for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
computer. I don't know. Maybe they must have had really like the company in order to work for you guys. You know what I mean? So they moved. They had an office in Charlestown. It was like a small little office, and then they moved to like the downtown area
Okay.
in South Station. That was a very nice office. You know what I mean? So they had like happy hours, and I was joining them. Getting the whole startup because I never knew what a startup is, right? And then I met him, and we were still dating, and And then then they moved there, and they moved to Faneuil Hall, which is right in Boston. Another very nice office as well. You know what I mean? So that company, because they merged with another company, it's a huge company, and there's so many people. And then I think at that point he was just like he wasn't feeling it. He was like he was the only one left, and the 2 of his partners already left at that time already, and it was time for him to move on, and it was really sad that day when he had that farewell party. Kind of like they kind of had to do it. You know what I mean? I think he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
So but I made him go just to leave at a good exit. So and that was it. I think that was the beginning of his venture of ideas and companies. So I think that was over 3-4 years we were there, right?
Yeah, so from my junior year in college,
Yeah.
all the way to 5 years later. So about 5 years.
So we're on 2004 right now.
2003, 2000. Yeah.
4, yeah. And then what did you do? You did you were a consultant for a few years after that, right? As well, because you consulted insurance companies. He also consulted with real estate companies called The Wolf, and that's when I finished
Okay.
college, and I decided that I don't want to work. I worked full time doing I was like a resource coordinator at Mass Engineering for me, and I was not happy there for a year. And then Phuc was like, "Why don't you do real estate?" And he said, "I'll build you a website." You know what I mean? So because he helped DeWolf build their real estate website, so that's how Mass Realty, his second company, came along. Is that the second company?
Well, it's a second. It's the
We're
third
missing
company.
up down somewhere, no?
But it started as a company for you. It was
For
your
me,
it
yeah.
was your first company.
Yeah, that was my first company. That he's like, "Okay, why don't you just do real estate?" Because at that time, I was like, "Okay, let me just do anything." At that point, really, I didn't know what I want to do. I didn't want to go to med school. I didn't want to continue working. I was only 22. I just graduated from college. I had no idea.
What did you graduate in,
to
though?
do. He was like, "Let's just do it." Yeah.
What did you graduate in?
I graduated in 2002. I was a
Oh,
biology
biology.
major.
It's one of the hard ones.
I wanted to go to like med school, become a doctor. That like any Asian kid, like, okay, you gotta be a doctor.
You're always leaking that validation
Doctor.
from the parents.
Yeah, I was like, no, doctor. I don't want to be a doctor. And then I decided, it was like, why don't you do real estate? You know, I was like, I had to go get my license. You know, I failed the test 2 times before I passed. Then I had to start, I had a driver's license, right? But I didn't drive for many years. We lived in the city. He was my, driver. He drove me everywhere I wanted to go.
That's what he was there. It's a function.
Then I had to start learning how to drive, and he actually made me like a very independent woman. I had started my own career, learn how to drive, so but now it's just
Like we're good now.
She's really
Thank you.
mean to me now. She used to be super nice. She's like, "Oh, Phuc is so awesome. She worshipped me. She's like really cool." And he's like, such a loser now.
no,
He's such a terrible loser. He's so sloppy. You don't dress nice. You don't say the right things.
No.
You talk too much.
The
You don't do
betrayal.
things, but the shine is no longer there.
No, I mean we've been together for like since I was 18. It's like over 23 years already, and then he actually has built up my career into what I'm doing now. Before I was a shy girl, I wouldn't talk to anyone. He actually started a career for me, and I'm very grateful that what he's done for me, and I'm hoping that I could give the same support back to him.
Well, you're in it right now. That's awesome.
Well, it's not. It's just everyone has a natural talent, and she's really good at it. But also, it's more like if you want to be part of the Matrix, go ahead. But I'm not gonna be your friend.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be part of the Matrix. Because I like to be I hang out with people who are outside the Matrix, especially people who are daring and take brave chances and really just try to be happy. I mean, if you work for the man, if you work for some job that you don't like, if you do something you don't enjoy,
Yeah, like what's the
why
point?
do you do it?
Like I'd like to have a roof over my head.
Yeah.
But at what price, man? There's some things that people don't understand, that it's like everything. I think I read it somewhere, but it's like you're paying with your time, and that's something that's not coming back. And your time, your emotions, and everything.
So I say that, I say this to everyone. What movie do you want to see in your life, right? So do you want to see a movie where you go to work and you're in the office, and everyone is kind of like hating their job, hating their boss, making fun of each other, and that's the best part of your day, is to do some inside joke or some silly experience.
have your drink.
Or do you want to go and try to conquer the world? And so I said, "Hey, Sherri, let's try to conquer the world together," and she's been with me. But just going back to why the first company failed, I would say it failed because the idea was good, but it wasn't great in terms of the final second half of the idea.
Well, I don't think it.
Yeah.
I mean, it failed as a company. It didn't fail. I mean, it gives you some experience to where you are now, right? In order for you to, be where you are, you gotta have some of these experiences, So in order for you to be where you're at, you have to start that company, right?
Right.
And then that's when you decided that you don't want to.
Yeah, it's about checking out these silver linings on everything. Like not everything is completely bad. Like you can always learn something. Like sometimes it's like you don't learn anything, but you try, and that's like what keeps you moving forward to your second, third, fourth.
Right, but yeah, but I could crack the nut. So this one, it wasn't. I think the team was pretty decent. I think the idea wasn't so great. I think maybe the idea killed it. So I'm just trying to do an analysis of what the other person would have done. So I think the idea was great to have college students use the career center. It would have been a great business if you just focused on the career centers. But if you really want to make money on the companies, it doesn't make sense that you sell the career centers, but also sell the companies. You have two customers. Who's your real customer? Is it the student? Is it the career center? Is it the corporations? And if so, how do you make that work? And so I think that could have worked out, but the idea
there wasn't a clear
so great.
objective.
But do you know what what are the universities using it now? Do you know? Are they using some sort of career, like online?
So what's the long run? The long run was they would use us. They would either do it in-house long run, buy someone cheaper, right? But it became a commodity in terms of that part of it. And we could never get the students to use us only as a brand because it wasn't even branded us. It was branded white label for the name of the school.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's say you went to Stanford. It would be Stanford Career Center. So what's e-recruiting? What's experience.com? Except for one email at the end of the year after you already have a job.
It's useless.
And that, yeah, so it's useless. So that was a mistake we made as a career center. You have to know we have to eat, so we have to make money somehow. So can we email the students during the year? Can we engage them more often? Can we actually have an integration between us and you guys? And they kept saying no.
Like they didn't want you to mingle or like be too intertwined with them, which is like, man, like we're here to help. Everybody's benefiting.
Yeah, these are my students. I don't want to be commercialized. This is supposed to be a nonprofit. It's supposed to be like having to find a job. I don't want ads everywhere. So like, how do we do that?
I feel like they were missing the point of why the students are there. Like they were, yes, some of them are going to be there for like knowledge and whatnot, but at the end of the day, they want a diploma to get a job, and that's what you were offering.
Right, but I think but in retrospect, I think we could have made money in other ways. So, for example, let's say the companies that are doing well today. Okay, what companies are doing well today? Like Glassdoor.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
Okay. Glassdoor is basically creating a water cooler, very similar to The Office TV show, except you get to go inside a company and see what the employees really think of working there.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about working there, it's like the truth about working at the company instead of the glossy fake job description.
Like the actual experience.
So we could have gone there. And so that was the Experience Magazine side, and we had better direction there. Instead of being the glossy, hey, here's what you should do for your career, here's actually the nitty gritty. But then you alienate the employers. But that's okay, because some employers actually alienate and some aren't. But if you become the de facto standard for people going, that's good. That's one possibility, right?
And it's something people want to know, though.
What else is winning today? Yeah. So.
Indeed.
Right, Indeed. So what does Indeed do? So Indeed is one of the largest job boards, and they beat Monster.com.
I don't know what happened to Monster.
They beat Yahoo
Jobs.
Oh, Yahoo Jobs, yes.
They beat a bunch of other job boards back then. I think JobSeek, a bunch of other ones that were in our space. That could have bought us, by the way.
I think Indeed works. I mean, they have a college. They have partnership with colleges too, so that's why when you post jobs,
they could have bought us. So Yahoo Jobs bought Hot Jobs.
Yes, Hot Jobs.
They bought Hot Jobs, so we could have been bought by the Tribune. The Tribune is the newspaper for Chicago, and they were talking to us about buying us because the newspapers were like, "Hey, how do we make more money?
Yes, like
maybe have a jobs online section." So we were so close, and again. When we sat in front of the VC, he's like, I can sell your company. We think we can sell for $30 million. Or we can give you $20 million. Unfortunately, we picked the $20 million for funding instead of selling the company at that point for $30 million. I think it could have been a pretty good, like decent outcome for us. So I don't think that was a bad company. It just wasn't a huge company. It could have been a huge company with a little bit more work and effort. And so just going back to Indeed, why did Indeed win? Well, Indeed won. And they're winning right now. So those who want to start companies in other countries and learn success, is Indeed didn't ask for permission for the companies. What they did was they went to the job postings that companies publicly create on their websites. For example, if I'm a startup, I would put the job postings for all my startup jobs. My hardware engineer, my software engineer, my QA person, etc. And these guys just screen scrape all those things and put it into a public database, like a Google search engine.
Okay.
But it wasn't a Google search engine. It was a job search engine.
Within their platform. Yeah.
And this is the brilliant part, right? All the jobs are free for them to get. They literally write a robot. And the robot, once you write that robot the first time and you map it to, let's say, the structure of a page, let's say the structure of my startup, right, Phuc Labs. As long as I don't change my website structure, that data feed is there forever. Right? So imagine that you have a team, and every day you have 100 sites that you map. You map 100 sites a day, 2 days you map 200 sites, 30 days you map whatever, 3,000 sites. And so the idea is, if you map all these over time, you have all 100,000 companies in the U.S. that really matter. And now you have all the jobs in the U.S. that really matter.
In one place.
Right? We could have done that too. But we would have to give it for free. But once you give it for free, then you're like, okay, all these students say every single job I know will be in Indeed because it's a search
just
engine,
simpler.
right? So what if I show up first on the results? My job would get more applicants.
Yeah, that's how. And then you get ad jobs and have them be at the top. Who gets to apply first?
And that's why they doing well right now, and that's why the public created. That's why they're really rocking it. We could have done that, but that again, one of those things where people would have to kind of have these insights, the small insights, but we could have made it too. But it's probably the idea. But also, I think maybe some of the timing, right? The timing was, I guess some people were looking for jobs, but not a ton of people compared to today.
Yeah, no, right now, I mean, like right now it's bad though.
So you have to pay Super Bowl ads. Back then, Monster had a Super Bowl ad. Remember that?
They're crazy expensive.
They were the first company to pay $1 million on a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, $1 million for like a 2-minute segment from Monster.com. But they got a ton of jobs. It was brilliant because people around the Super Bowl, February, January, that's like the new year.
Yeah.
Right. So people are looking for a change, and in the football is pretty popular, and so that was back when. So, but then me and Sherri, after that, we did some side hustling. So we did the Master OT thing.
Yes, we're still doing that right now.
I did the consulting, and do you want to talk about the speed dating?
No, that was just for fun.
Up-down counts?
But I want to show people that we can make money.
So
So you helped me do the speed dating, right?
I think, we had, some speed dating events where we had...
You're underselling Up-down.
We did, we also did Up Down. Is that at the same time?
Okay. Let me tell you some of the side hustles.
Oh my God, there's so
okay,
many now.
You ever see those movies where people con people, and the
Yes.
cons and all that stuff? Like the... Okay, so Sherri,
What?
who happened to be my wife,
Yes.
who is a recruiter. And the job that you need to fill, boss, I would love to have my wife take a look to see if she can find some candidates for you. So then, overnight, we make an LOC called Super TechNet.
It was,
Remember Super TechNet?
oh, yeah, it was a job placement.
So Super TechNet. I
The
think I
name
told
is
this on the
awesome.
podcast. I was consulting at a company.
Super TechNet
So I
Ultra
said-
Plus.
I gotta come up with a name. So I bought supertechnet.com for $10, $8. I made a fake holding page, and she was a recruiter who was running Super TechNet. So it's like, hey boss, my wife's a real estate agent. Well, hey boss, my wife does accounting. Hey boss, my wife's a lawyer. Would you like to take a look at their services?
The hustle, man.
Of course you'd say that. Yeah, so she overnight became a recruiter for a technical recruiting company called Super TechNet.
I think one of your college friends helped us too, so I remember.
Okay, so then I knew the three.
I can't take full credit for that.
So I'll tell you the real numbers. I was getting paid, I think, $80 an hour.
Yeah.
$80 an hour. And I knew the jobs. We needed at least 2 or 3 people. So I was interviewing all these people because all these recruiters were bringing candidates to the company. I was contracting for this company. So it wasn't my company. I was contracting for them. So they're bringing other contractors in, and as a contractor working there, I had to interview the future contractors. Like, these guys suck. I can do better. I can find, and if I'm interviewing someone, might as well interview someone and get paid for it. Why am I doing this and not getting paid at all? So I said, these bozos, they're charging what, 30%? So I'm making 80, but these bozos are charging 120.
Yeah. So you're getting $40 an hour. Yeah.
So they're keeping $40. So every time I make $1, they're making 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Or 40 cents, whatever it is. Or 30 cents, whatever it is, right? That's fine. They find me the job, but if you work there for a year, 2 years, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me place these jobs instead, and let me earn the $40 for my colleagues. So I got 2 people placed.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
2 people placed, so instead of making $80 an hour, I made $80 an hour for myself.
$80.
I made $40 for the person I placed each, because I would charge $80 for them, and then pay them. Well, I charge 110, 120 for them, pay them 70,
50, yeah.
and keep 50 or whatever, or 40.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I made $160 an hour.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Which is $300,000 a year,
That was the...
working one job. I wasn't really working that hard either because I was really good and I just kept, I kept excelling. That's why they trusted me. And every single person I interviewed that I presented to them, they hired, pretty much.
That was when? 2000. When is that?
That was during my consulting years.
2004. Wait. Yeah. 2005 at that point. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, so then I was like, okay, this is good, but remember that I was so unhappy.
Yeah, you didn't. No, he was driving like 45 minutes each way.
Right.
It was, he didn't want to. He didn't want to do that anymore. So, what else did you want to do?
No, but what I said was, I was like, I'm making millions of dollars for these companies,
And what-
especially for example,
Yeah.
Mass Royalty, right?
Yeah.
They work for was making millions. It's like I did most of it with a team of
Exactly.
people.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I made you. I said, I can do this myself. I even did it. I made
Yeah.
Mass Royalty for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well just. They tried to recruit me to be full time. Every job I worked was that.
No.
And I was like, no.
Because then they have you.
So I said, I gotta start a company, and that's why I posted those jobs, and I started Updown. Okay, so Updown. Why do you think Updown failed? Updown was a social network for finance, where
Yes.
you would be able to trade $1 million of fake money in a game,
Yep.
and you would win
Yeah.
real prize money. And just like Facebook, it was a social network, but for stock traders.
Well, they were looking for a CTO, right? So.
No, we co-founded the idea together.
No.
No, they were looking for a technical co-founder.
Oh yeah, so you.
And I was looking to partner with
Sorry,
someone.
Yes.
And I wanted to do a social network, but
Yes.
for events.
Yes.
And they wanted to do a social network for finance.
Yes.
And we compromised to use their idea
Yes.
because I wanted to do anything with a social network,
Okay.
period.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever the
And I
content was
didn't really-
relevant. Like.
But I'll just give you an example. Around the same time, there was a company called Going.com who actually did the social network for events. And I became friends with her. Her name is Roberto Souza. And that failed.
Yeah.
So both ideas failed. So it didn't matter what idea I would have done.
Like we both messed up. It's fine.
But why do you think Uptown failed?
Up,
So-
down? I don't know. I don't trade stocks, so I don't know, really.
Exactly.
I really don't know.
So the idea was
Okay.
flawed because you have 10 people, one person knows stocks.
The other ones have no idea
Right. So let's say you have 300 million people in the U.S. and you have 1 out of 100 people who want to even do anything with
Mhm.
stocks back then, right? You're talking about 3 million.
That's not a big
people.
pool.
3 million people is a lot of people. But if you're going to make an ad-based revenue business model out of it, 3 million people isn't
No,
enough.
no.
You can't do a Super Bowl ad for 3 million people, make anything but a couple $1,000. You know what I'm saying? You have to have like the reach of a lot, and also those 3 million people, they won't click on the same ad over and over again.
Y-
If you
yeah.
show the
that's
same
it, it's
brokerage,
once.
say the same ad, it's ad
Mhm.
fatigue, right? So ultimately, it was not a very good idea, but also the timing wasn't so great because people weren't into, I guess, the Robinhood thing that's
Yeah.
happening today, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of these apps on the phone,
Yeah.
people were trading, so that the phone was just starting back around then. It was 2006.
Yeah, and then
2010.
there was the mortgage crisis happened as well, during
Okay.
that time as well. Like everything, a lot of foreclosures and stuff during that time. So everyone was, shifting money and, everybody was unemployed. So I would say it was a bad time for that website.
So terrible timing.
Yeah, it's terrible timing.
But also the idea was a little bit flawed. But what could have worked? What could have worked was some type of like Robinhood, right, where you can buy and sell instead of fake money, buy real stocks
Okay.
and all that stuff like Robinhood, but charge free. Right, charge free except for premium stuff. So the premium model, right? We could have done something like Seeking Alpha, where we were more like content and advice. We could have done something, but even then it would have been very hard because the social network for such a niche thing. Like so many people have like dog walking apps. You remember the dog walking apps?
There was an
back then
app.
where everyone had a dog walking app.
And then
Yeah, there's a social network for pet lovers. So you go, hey,
Yes.
yeah, there's so many like social network, blah blah blah. But none of them really work because not enough people.
good. Like, oh, what a horrible idea. But, okay.
I mean, a dog worker, you know how much they get paid, right? They get paid $80,000 a year, up to $100,000
Per
for
dog?
some of these dog workers. Because I asked one of these, like, how much you get? No, because
Yeah.
they walk like
Yeah,
20
yeah.
dogs at a time, right? They got like, well, they only walk them twice a day, and they get
That's
$100,000
crazy. And
a
just-
year. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a,
So
it's,
anyway,
it's a need. Be
so that didn't work out. And so then after that, the last two companies are actually going to make it. So Clinical Research IO,
What year was that?
That was in 2015. No, Mass Realty didn't make it either.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so Mass Realty was the third company. This is the SEO driven real estate idea where you would have multiple websites for every state, New Hampshire Homes, Michigan Homes, massrealty.com. And Google would send us a ton of ads.
Yes.
Ton of traffic. And at peak, how many page views do we get? I think we got 8 million page views a month.
Yes.
That means that about 5 million people in the U.S. came to the website every month.
It's a solid volume.
And how much were we making at peak?
Almost $40,000 a month, I think, right?
It was $42,000 a month,
yeah.
Just in ads.
Yeah.
And
not sales.
And sales,
that's awesome.
80,000 per month.
Yeah.
So like $100,000 a month.
Almost, yeah.
And just me and her.
1.2 million a year, right?
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to go. And that was only 15 states. So multiply that by 3.
Damn, that's
50 states, right? 50 states. We would have been like solopreneurs. So solopreneur is an entrepreneur who does it by themselves. And there's a lot of solopreneurs that I know in my career, and a lot of them do do these small SEO affiliate marketing things. That at some point, if I'd love to chat to our fans and our customers and maybe even do a webinar about this. But affiliate marketing is one of the easiest ways to get into anything business related. So affiliate marketing is when you sell someone else's product. So think about it this way, right? In order to make a business, you have to have something to sell, and you got to sell it really well, right? And you got to make a really good customer service experience, and then have repeat customers.
That's a bunch of different skills, though.
Okay, so when you come to this country, all you have is your hustle. So no one has anything to sell.
Nope.
Right? So what do people sell? They sell insurance, they sell cars, they sell other people's stuff. They sell books, they sell Bibles, they sell whatever, insurance premiums. But instead of selling it door to door, you can sell it online. For example, you can make a YouTube about baking, and then sell a baking book. And each time you sell a baking book, you can get 10%, 15% of all the proceeds through affiliate marketing, right? And so that's literally how you should start small. And all these solopreneurs that I know, I'll give you an example of someone that's actually pretty cool around the same time. This person, very well educated, went to Harvard, went to do investment banking, understood this whole platform about marketing, and said, you know what, I can do this myself. He quit his job, making 6 figures, just like me. He was very happy working for someone else, working for the man.
Not for everybody.
Matrix, right? Not for everybody. And he's like, you know what, I know about this space about nursing, so let me make a nursing website for people who want to know about graduate school programs, because I'm a nurse, and every time I get a degree enhancement, I get more money, right? I get a bump in my pay. So there's websites that I should Google to find out where I should get my nursing degree and reviews and all that stuff. So he literally there's only like 50 or 100 of these graduate school programs, a couple hundred, right? He literally just consolidated them into
the same place.
Something that's easy to understand. And literally, he only had like a couple 100,000 people come a month. Like they say 30,000 people come a month, 40,000 people come a month. But every single time that he got a lead, he made $40.
Okay.
Right? And maybe even 100. And the reason why was because the college graduate school program, how much a grad school program cost? Like for 2 or 3 years, like to be a nurse, maybe $100K, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And so there are companies out there that are calling people to get them to grad school. And these grad schools will pay them a commission. They pay them like $30K commission, $20K commission.
You work for them, you're a salesperson.
So let's say every time you get someone into grad school, you make $10,000 commission as a sales agent from these companies. So there's a company that he knew that would buy these leads for $40. They'll buy 10, 20 of his leads, and then they'll sell one time. So they'll pay 10 times 40, $400, and they make 10,000. But they have to have a salesperson call them, right, and go through the process, obviously, right? But that's affiliate marketing right there in a nutshell. And times, let's say 1,000 times 40 is how much?
1,000, 40,000. Yeah.
Per month. $500,000 a year.
For referring people.
BestNursingDegrees.com. That's all you did.
Wait, is he still running it?
Well, I mean, he did other ones, and eventually he sold it for a couple of million. He also did firemen. He did like policemen. He did other things, but that's the hustle. The hustle is there's a new game in town. There's a Wild West. If you know the game, which we'll teach you some of the game, this is part what the show is about, and you can basically become a hustler like us. But that was pretty cool, right? But Match 50 failed because I would say we relied on Google. We played by the rules. We did what they told us to do. And like in the previous episode, they changed the rules of the game, and that's why I think timing-wise that was terrible because you were caught in the crossfires of this legitimate crackdown on cheaters. But we weren't cheaters, but obviously 1% casualty, collateral damage. You want to kill Al Qaeda, but you kill the kids and the
like everybody would.
So and the neighbor, maybe the random passerby. So we want the random casualties. So then after that, clinical research IO. Let's talk about that. Why do you think that was successful? Because obviously that was successful.
Well, I mean, it is successful, yeah.
But why, Sherri?
It's still there.
What do you think?
Why? I think, what's the real reason he left? He was
no, like not leaving. Like, why did
idea.
clinical research IO work? What was so special about it? Yeah.
Why does it work? I think, well, he was in it. He was in it. He actually built the whole, platform, the whole software, He was the one person, I think without him, it wasn't a real company because his partner wasn't like the programmer. He didn't do it. I don't think he did much really. He actually built the sales team. He built everything from the ground up. He was there. But now he's the CEO now. You know what I mean? So since he stepped down, you know what I mean? So, but overall, I think it's still it's a proper company now. After is it 5 years now? Is it 5 years?
Yeah, I mean we're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Clearly profitable, and we power 20-30% of all clinical research.
There's a lot of clinical.
Even though it wasn't my idea, I mean, I was all in on the idea, and this is my baby. Like, when you have a company, it's always like a baby. You can't. You love your baby no matter what, and this is the baby that I felt the most proud of because I did code a lot of it. I did do a lot of the work, and it was only 8 people really for about 4 years.
Not a lot.
And then for 4 years it was about 8 people. Yeah. When I was there, we raised about $2 million, $3 million. We grew to 8 people. We became profitable. I mean, we wrote 5 modules worth of software in 4 years, and really it just was so well executed that we're so lean, we're profitable, and now we're kicking butt even because of COVID. Because everybody's like, okay, shoot, COVID's happening. How do we work online? How do we work remotely?
Yeah, you already had this.
And they look up. The only product that actually works is ours. We've been around for 4 years doing it. The competitor had done it like a beta test like a year ago. So we're 4 years ahead, and then COVID happens. And when I left the company, let's say this. We had about 8 people.
Now
we had about 10 people, and I was growing it to 15. Yep. Because with 15 people, we were
expanding.
Profitable. 15 people were profitable, and I left the company because we're basically, the trajectory was like
like very exponential, right? Like that.
It was like basically about to happen, and we had a couple of multi-million-dollar contracts that they were about to say yes. COVID hit, and all. Well,
at some point, you could have changed your prices.
So we had 15 people. We were profitable, and then we tripled revenue.
Yep.
I just got an update. We tripled revenue, and we tripled and quadrupled the team size.
They have, was it 50 people now? It's not 50.
More than 50, and then
50.
But that was part of the plan that I had put together. We had a plan to grow to 50 people. If success came, and this was the plan being executed. I'm very proud of it, and all that stuff in the last year and a half was basically I would say I get credit for that. I get grandfather for the last year and a half of success, and anything after that, obviously, I'd like to get some credit too. But I vested all my shares. It's an amazing company. Very proud of it. I wish I could do more there, but obviously sometimes fate requires you to
you're elsewhere.
Move on, and so this company.
No, Phuc always has this, I think it's every 4 or 5 year itch he has.
It's not an itch. I was gonna be there for the rest of my
need.
life.
I don't think so. No, I knew he was not gonna be there for long. You know what I mean? So after, I think But for this company, for Glass, I think he's gonna be here for the long run. I think because
Well, my name is on.
of course. You know what I mean? And he's he has a great partner and a great team. So he's gonna be here for the long run. So this is it. So
Yeah, and most of me, look, the thing is, like, I know who I am. Okay. I want to run a Google. I want to run a company like Amazon. I want to run a company that's a defining company with multiple products, with multiple inspirational visions for the future. And, for that company, clinical research, we need a focused leader.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need to understand yourself and be humble and say, look, I'm the leader who can create awesome, amazing products and have a diversified portfolio, just like Alphabet, just like Facebook wants to be with the Meta change. And I want to have a resilient company where I can actually use my art, and I felt like that was in sync. Great band, great group, but I want to go solo.
Gonna be Justin.
I want to show that I want to be JT. That's right. I'm PT. But also, like, I want to challenge myself to, like, I believe in myself, but I also believe I have a lot to
Yeah, there's
offer
more to come, man.
that will be hard to do with having my own album. I have a lot of artistic,
You could pat yourself
and guess what happened? My first album is pretty good.
so far.
My first album is pretty good. I have a lot more crazy ideas that, those songs are going to be original and they're going to be amazing, and they're not going to be like regurgitative. It's not going to be, I'm going to take this thing and make it a little bit better. It's going to be like, whoa, where did that come from? How the hell did you invent that?
Definitely.
It'll be laws of physics. It'll be incredible adventures where we go from broke to hopefully very successful. And we can start the Star Trek revolution.
Yes.
We can do a lot of things. And I want to have my beautiful wife, say the last words because we're going to the hour.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have her back. But I want to ask you two questions. What was the worst moment and what was the best moment?
No, I don't think there's worst moments.
The pressure.
It's you know what? It's not boring in our lives to say that. You know what I mean? It's always a venture with you. So no matter what, I'm gonna be there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
There's no worst time.
I think the best times are about to come.
Yes, the best times.
You guys, like, let me say this one, right? I've been in 4 movies. This is the 5th movie.
This is it. That's what I'm saying. So.
I know how to make movies.
Okay.
This is a blockbuster. Phucsters, hang in there. We're about to show you some real stuff. I'm going to interview some more people who are working at the company, some of the partners that we're working with, some of the investors that we're working with, some of the interns, some of the science, and I'm going to blow your brain up with some deep metaphysical stuff. Okay, I want also maybe to end with this.
What?
All the stuff I've been telling you physics-wise, you're the first to hear it.
Okay.
How crazy is it?
It's pretty crazy, guys. So stay tuned for
Soon. Keep following up. And
So the last time I spoke about God and how I'm agnostic, and now I 100%, 10 out of 10, believe God is real.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, Sherri. Before I told you that, from 1 out of 10, how much do you believe God was real? Before I talked to you.
No, I didn't. I mean, I had some sort of belief, but I think after talking to you,
I've been converted. Oh, praise the Lord.
Okay, so when I ask my coworkers, I say from 1 out of 10, before I talk to you, how much were you? They say probably like a 5. And I asked how they are, and they're like 7.
Yeah, so I went up to.
And then a couple weeks later, they're like 8. And then after a couple months, hopefully I infect you all.
Soon, huh?
And then you guys see it.
Let's see.
This person I hired, his name is Mike. I'll have him on the show. I remember I was like, I left the room. I came back to get my jacket. I know. I was like, oh, you're probably talking how crazy I am. And he's like, how do you read out of mine? I was like, just like, you are crazy. And then I had a talk with him one-on-one yesterday. And I explained to him, because he first like worked here for only like a month, right? And then I walked with him. I started explaining some more of my theories. And then he's like, maybe I'm crazy too. Because he's starting to believe it. It's crazy. Okay. But let me end with this, maybe. Let me end with this, right? I talked to my friend yesterday. Really smart guy. He's Indian. Harvard Business School, everything, right? And I said to him, do you believe in psychic powers? Do you believe in magic? He's like, no. Unless you can scientifically prove to me that magic is real, there's no way it's real. And I said, it's right in front of you. Let me ask you a question, okay? If I gaze upon something and I can make it change state by just gazing upon it or thinking about it, do you think after I do that and I show it to you scientifically 100% that if the only difference between you get something happening and something not happening is you gazing upon it or looking at it or thinking about it, would that prove that magic is real and that psychic powers exist? Yes or no?
To me, not yet. I'm a bit tougher than that.
Yeah. Yes or no? Sherri, if I said to you, if I gaze upon something, I'm not going to touch it, it's going to change.
What do you think about it?
Change state. Clearly change state. If I said to you yes or no, if I can prove you scientifically that's true, would you believe that psychic powers exist? And he said, of course I would. That doesn't make any sense. Then I said to him, that's how quantum physics works.
Yeah.
Everything in your phone, all electronics, is based on that. If you gaze upon an electron or
it changes its
photon,
behavior.
it's called the Heisenberg effect, Heisenberg principle. If an electron has a tie, has to go left or right, or a photon has to go left or right, it goes both ways, 50-50. But if you gaze upon it, it will always go one way, either left or right. There's a state change. If you don't gaze upon it, it goes to 50-50. If you gaze upon it, it goes to 100% left or right. And I asked Jay, who pushed it left or right? Where did the energy come from? What's different? And then Jay said, the only difference is you gazing upon it. And I said, well, what happened there is you added information. You added the information by spinning the dice. It's called hidden variable theory. Einstein believed in it. The hidden variable is the spin of the dice that you computed using your random number generator. When you gaze upon it, you are manifesting reality. And Jay's like, that doesn't make any sense. Let me explain to you mathematically. Do you know the number 3?
Heard of it, yeah.
Is it real? Is it manifest? Yes or no? Of course. 1, 2, 3. Is the square root of 3 manifest? The square root of 3 is 1.7 blah, 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 forever.
Yes.
Is it real? Yes.
Yes.
Can you touch it? No. Can you write down? No. Because it goes on forever. It's imaginary. It's irrational. It's a ghost. Ghosts are real. They're just an idea. They're just not manifest. But when you gaze upon a ghost, when you gaze upon an electron, when you gaze upon a photon, you're making a copy of it in your mind. Your copy of it plus the original multiplied manifests to become 3, to become real. When you look upon that electron and that photon, you're adding data of where it should go, left or right, by spinning the dice, using your consciousness and the energy of your conscious being. You're adding energy to the universe in the form of energy, moving it left or right. And that means that you're psychic. You're using your psychic powers to gaze upon something and magically have it go left or right.
Let's finish with that.
And guess what happened? God gazed upon us first and spun the Big Bang and manifested reality. I'll leave you guys at that. Thank you for listening to my craziness. My wife has been listening to this all her life. But these are the theories that are real, that we're doing in the lab. We're proving it in science. It's called the Heisenberg effect. Schrodinger's cat. Whatever you want. It's called the quantum effect. Look it up, guys. Ghosts are real, but only manifest when you believe in them. Okay? Irrational numbers, imaginary numbers are not manifest. They're not real unless you multiply it by itself. 2 imaginary thoughts create something real.
Here you go.
Okay, guys. I'll
See
leave
you
you guys
guys next
with that. Thank you,
time.
boosters.
Take care. Thanks, Sherri.
Okay, bye.